With the increased height of the riser block and the bigger, one other thing that I want to say. The early models used steel square bars that were chrome plated. The newer models went with I'm guessing this is some sort of a lightweight aircraft aluminum because they weigh like nothing. So that's one way of dating them. The originals are steel and they're chrome plated. And then they went black, and there are different length square bars with different delineations that correspond to the vise height, which has to do with the challenges of looking to upgrade. Okay. So what happened was that the ProPack 2 comes with a riser block, raises everything, a bigger guide rod, further space between it to allow you to utilize the precision. Then we were rotating this and dialing this in, whereas the first brackets were simply knuckles. One knuckle lets you go forward and back, and the other knuckle lets you go side by side. And with the combination of the two knuckles or wrist pins, that was the roller balls. And then Wicked Edge went to an actual ball bearing, and they used that for years and years. And they upgraded the adjustment brackets and all that. All that said, this vise, the way it worked, was the shortcoming because one side is fixed and the other side is pressing the knife against that fixed side. A knife, for the most part, looks like this. Some knives look like this, and then at the top they're like that. But most knives tend to be tapered from somewhere above the spine up the knife. Most of them have some sort of tapered. So when you clamp the knife against the fixed side, it leaned the knife to the left. Those discerning users like myself that were using cubes and looking at the height of the bevels and trying to figure out everything, trying to make this perfect mirror edge and figure out what was I doing wrong, what I came up with was the limitations of the clamping system. And then from that point, we studied how do we overcome that, and I learned from others before me and dissected that because now we're leaning the knife. So if we're leaning the knife and we can adjust both sides separately, which is the whole purpose of that square bar and micro adjusters, to let you micro adjust with the cube each side separately, then I had to learn how to overcome the clamping. Without getting into that and explaining that, fast forward, as the years went on, different kinds of clamps became available, and eventually Wicked Edge took a common clamp design that's being used and they redesigned it to replace the original standard vise, the screw clamp the wedge that caused the blade to lean. This new clamp does a couple things. First of all, it clamps this way. With these screws, the way it's engineered, that pulls both sides together. So the knife is clamped vertically. It's clamped at the same point on both sides. Now, besides that, they took these clamps and instead of making it solid one piece, and later in time they even split this to make it fluted so that the clamp could flex as you clamp the knife. This clamp now is two clamps side by side. That's why they have separate screws. So then as you clamp a knife in it, as the knife tapers from the spine to the tip, this will taper with it. I'm going to stop this one here. I'm watching the time, and we'll continue on the next video.